So we have some news, not only one, but always a lot, and we're really working hard behind the scenes to give you something really good. And if you want to be one of the first people to usually know this news, whether there's guests, whether it's a new concept, whether it's a secret, don't forget to subscribe, do the notification bell, whatever you need to do to support us so we can deliver the best to you.
Are you clapping?
How was it being an only child, right?
I'm the only one left of 7. I was always the little, Italian that laughed too loud and loved too much. I was raised by a volcano and a rainy day.
Tell me about Luisa.
Oh, la mamma.
She had a rare illness.
She was talking to me about me. Do you know Lara? I said, Mama, it's me. No. Do you know Lara? She's the soil of me being content.
You have a beautiful usage of words on expressing yourself. You should do a TEDx talk.
It was a very unique experience. I've never done an interview like this, ever.
Ready?
Are you clapping?
Okay. So I start in a very simple way. Mm-hmm. And the question is, hi Lara, how are you really doing?
Yes, to avoid the I'm all right. There's the question avoiding the I'm all right answer. Mm-hmm. How am I really doing? I'm really fine. I'm really serene and content.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you always content?
Oh no, that's a process. It's a journey. You don't get to that word as if it was a goal. You have to master the essence of getting to that place, and it takes years. In my opinion, and I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it took me decades to get there.
So would you say it was turbulent to serenity, or not so turbulent and to serenity?
Well, I've had my share of turbulences, but I think it's to be conscious that brings you to serenity. Is to trigger that space inside of you where you act out of consciousness,
okay,
where you're present and not caught into the turbulences that will lead you to turmoil, will lead you to despair, will lead you to emptiness. So how do you feel content, fulfilled, nourished? Once you stop and you align yourself with certain things you finally choose, because most of the time we think we don't have the choice, which I think is a...
I watched a scary video that my mother forwarded to me, and this scientist with his theory is we have zero free will. Zero. Like you are born inheriting the traumas in your DNA from a scientific point of view. And you are
neurologically, he could be right on one side, but that does not determine our choices.
I didn't like it, of course.
Of course
like
not.
I want some free will
and power.
But he says your hormones, your testosterone, your dopamine levels are all preconditioned, and then where the environment you live in is causing you to behave a certain way. You think it's like when somebody says, I want to buy a certain bag, and you're like, you never liked this bag, but because they saw it so much on media or social media,
You end up buying it.
You think you're doing it free will, but it's not a full free will.
May I disagree?
Of course, I don't like it too. Like that was just a scary video to watch.
I think the power of a choice is not something that we're taught. It's not something that we are raised with or educated with. They teach us that if you have the choice and it empowers you, you should feel ashamed of it. Or if you made a choice that does not empower you but puts you in a terrible difficulty or terrible situation, then you're guilty of it. So in both cases, we abandon the choices because one makes us guilty, one makes us too powerful, and so enhances the fact that as human we can't be powerful because it would be lacking humility. I don't believe in that. I think it's dogmatically, to me, it's a mistake to think like that. But before you empty yourself of that belief in certainty, before you wash out all that, which you have been conditioned with and which you have been raised with, you end up with no bearings. You end up with no foundation. You think, okay, where do I start from now? Since I have the power, and it's okay to have the power. Since I'm not guilty because I'm just the person who's experimenting something, the person who's experiencing something, okay? So that's what I had to learn. How can I become the maker of my life, the artist of my life? And I'm talking artist in a very large way, okay? How can I become the person who draws everything, you know? Beyond free will, beyond being conditioned, beyond my education, beyond what dogmatically is okay or not, beyond any of this, how can I just sit serene, aligned, and decide? This is me, and this is what I want.
My son was sitting. So what I do with I have two boys.
How old?
14 and 10.
Great.
Yeah, so it's the time that I enjoy more because I'm a communicator. So now they're my friends, you know.
Of course.
You have Lou?
Yes, I have Lou. She's gonna turn 17 soon.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So the friend phase.
Yeah.
And hopefully you're friends.
Oh yes, we are.
Okay, lovely.
Yes, we are. I love her. I admire her. I respect her so much.
I love that. So he was sitting next to me, and he said, I don't know how the conversation came about. Well, I told him, Baba, so it's funny, in Arabic we say Baba, like he says Baba, but I also say it back.
Okay.
I don't know if you have that in French. Or,
we have that in Sicily. In Sicily, like if my mother would call me, she would say, "A mamma," so meaning you are from mama, meaning you are mine. That's how she says it. She used to say it. "A mamma, vieni qua." So it's as if you would add to Baba, of Baba or by Baba.
Yes. How nice.
Yeah, we have that.
Okay. So I said, Baba, do you want a shortcut to leadership?
Oh, what a question. Did you ask this to your son?
Yeah. He's 14. He's a smart boy. And he's like, sure. I'm like, I'll give you something I learned now. It took me 42 years to kind of figure this out the last few years. I'll give you one shortcut. And he said, what is it? I said, be a decision maker. And it was a very vague sentence. I said, it can come down to what you eat when you order from whatever app you use.
Sure.
Because I see how people are so indecisive. What should I order? Should I order this? Where should we go out? Anywhere you'd like. I don't know which movie. Anything you would like. Nobody's deciding in groups except usually one person who's like, you know, I did the reviews. This is the movie we're going. And I said, that's a very small example of a very common thing that happens. But God knows how much time is being wasted if every day you're being indecisive about something, let's say 12 minutes. And you multiply that by days and days and hours, and at 12 minutes I'm being nice. And I said, it comes down to also people not leaving a bad job, a miserable marriage, a miserable love relationship. Why aren't they leaving my love, it's because human beings are afraid to decide, which is something you kind of touched on.
That's exactly what I meant.
So,
and why are we afraid to decide?
Guilt and unknown, fear of the unknown also.
Fear of the unknown, but you know, once we take that flight, we feel the wind under our wings, and then the unknown becomes the fuel. So I would say, first reason, we're afraid to be judged. We're afraid to be cut out of the clan, of this indecisive, you know, process where no one should really decide, because we can be a side of it. We need to be part of this thing. So the 12 minutes you're talking about should be not just not knowing, but mastering the art of choosing. Because that it's okay to land in a place where there's a bit of silence, or you don't commit right away to the action that you're about to bring up, because you should be you should have some kind of reflection before that. What do you want? So the time wasted is that all that time isn't serving a choice, but the time that makes you think about something in the most genuine, spontaneous, normal way. I'm not talking about overthinking, which can also be a big enemy.
Correct.
But just thinking the kind of decision that would make you taste your life, that would make your life so...
I wish people would do, I know it's easy to say, and the 12 minutes when it comes down to bigger decisions like people leaving marriages, and I see so many miserable ones, or bad jobs, and I'm like, you should just do your thing, and they're like, no, you know, I'm comfortable. And it's funny how anybody, Lara, outside can look and be like, what are you doing? The guy is beating you, for example. That's extreme case, right?
But it
or
happens.
the husband is disrespecting you, or the wife is demeaning you, and we all know you're not happy. You look dead. So it's so logical for us looking in. But then you look at them, it's because their emotions make their brain foggy. It's not as clear in their eyes as you are from outside.
Of
so
course
they don't.
not.
It's their new comfort, even though it's a messed up comfort. But it's a comfort zone. It's what they know.
Well, the enemy is not knowing yourself. You know, the enemy is the unknown inside of you. So the comfort that you may, you appear to live with is actually totally, to me, it's a different thing completely. It's not knowing who you are. So as long as you haven't explored every little corner of yourself, you can't really make a decision. So it takes time to become that person. Some of us are really lucky. Some of us have been raised with a great sense of, you know, a self-esteem. They're balanced. They've been raised with courage and strength, and they've been valued for what they are. They've been looked at and after. And so they're stronger than some of us, okay? But some really have had quite big issues with their with the early days, and with the relationship they had both with their families or their friends, and it's been a true challenge to grow up. And those ones are the ones who develop sadness or depression as a best friend.
As a best friend.
Yes. Some of us, Anas, grow up and they're never seen for what they are, okay? So that's what they've known all their childhood, actually most of their lives. So most of the time what happens when you haven't been seen, or you have been disrespected, or your self-esteem is low because of that, you reproduce the program. Because you can't believe that you could have been loved differently. You can't believe that this could have been another way. So what you do is you find someone who like 100% resembles the father, the mother, the sister, it doesn't matter what it is or who it is, that has had that relationship with you. And you reproduce it to comfort yourself. Because this is how you were loved. This is how you were or weren't looked after or at. And so this is what you know. And that's where the comfort zone gets triggered. So to accept that you could have been loved differently, you could have been looked after differently, or you could have been nourished in a different way. You need to kill that part of you. And also the relationship, because you can't kill the other, because it wouldn't make any sense anyway. You can't change the other. You can only change your perspective, your take on the other and the relationship. So once you're ready to do that, especially with a parent, it's the most difficult thing. When you're ready to do that, you're ready to rewrite the story, to reinvent yourself, actually to find yourself.
There's a nice saying that the most dangerous man is a man who read one book.
Yes.
So like you said, if all you know is one version of you, you don't even know something else exists. That's all you know.
Exactly. So you will, even from an energetic point of view, from the vibration that you will create around you is about that, will be that. And so you will attract the same thing. Because what we think, what we emanate, triggers concretely our reality.
I believe that too. If I asked you, Lara, who are you?
Myself.
How would you describe yourself?
I'm me. I'm a woman. I'm an artist. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. So that's very basic, because that's really the first thing that I am every day. First things that I am every day. But then I am, if we have to get into a little more details, I am courageous and very, very sensitive.
What a combo.
Yes. Well, you need to be courageous if you're sensitive.
I agree. So if I have like a white canvas like this, and I told you, Lara, draw me your mental state, what would you draw on a white canvas?
I would draw a heart with feet that looks at a huge sunshine, and from afar there's a huge tree with a lot of fruit and flowers. It can't be mixed, but I would mix them. So if you have flowers, you don't have the fruit. If you have the fruit, you don't have the flowers. And then around me, I would have a marvelous, marvelous sunset.
That's a cool drawing.
It's very childish, but I can see it.
I like that. And you said your childhood, the early stages, I read this, that you were in Sicily.
Yes.
Do you remember it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
My first 8 years. I remember every bit of it.
Wow. How was it?
Women, huge kitchen, a lot of food, fantastic singing all around, just for fun. Olive trees, lemon trees, a volcano, a beautiful green terrace with strawberries in a corner that my grandma would grow. And talking. We're talking, eating, rebuilding the world, yes.
That's so nice. And how was your relationship with your parents when you were young?
With my parents were very different from one another. My dad is from the northern part of Europe. He's Belgian, from the Flemish side, and my mom is Sicilian. You know, it says it all. And that dichotomy, that amazing contrast, breeded this this particular strange harmony. You know, there was a lot of conflictual aspects to their being together, and at the same time, it created a lot of complementary things. It was consistent that the differences created a stable ground. where these two different things would actually make a pretty harmonious reality. That being said, it took me a while to understand I did not have to choose out of these two things. That I could be a product, a fruit of this dichotomy. And it was okay. Because when you're young, really when you're a kid, you have this tendency to be close, either, you know, close to your dad or your mom. It doesn't matter. It's not because you're a little girl that you're specifically close to your father. This is how it normally is, but it was not my case. I was close to both of them for different reasons. But my mother, the roots of my mother, the love that my mother was capable of giving, the wisdom of my mother, had no strategy, had no northern aspect. There was nothing rational or practical or only intellectual about the way my mother loved me. It was through her bloodstream, through her flesh and her soul. And that, when you're a child, leaves a mark on you. And I'm talking about it and I feel the warmth, you know. I don't think about something, I feel something when I talk about her. And that's something that my dad was very different about. It was more about showing me how he could love me, explaining to me how this could be done, and that was a manifestation of his way of loving me and taking care of me. Which also was very important, but so different. So I wasn't raised by two Sicilians or two Belgians, okay? I was raised by a volcano and a rainy day.
It's beautiful. Contrasts are important.
They create perspective.
We need it. Otherwise, we don't know the benchmark of anything.
Exactly.
What is the most thing that you learned from your parents?
The most important? Respect. Respect for everything, for life. For the ability we have to be human, and taking that really seriously. Being human, being really human. You know, not just a thinking soul or an acting heart. Just being responsible with our humanity. Knowing that there's something behind being human. We can do something about the fact that another human is suffering, another human is needy, another human needs consideration. Like, humanity behind my education was really a pivotal point. Yeah, to remain really connected to how human we can be, you know.
And
not just how successful or happy just for being. There was nothing superficial about this pivotal element. It was, do you realize the responsibility you have as a human being towards the others? You really do have one, Lara. You can really make a difference. So that was really important in my education.
Are you implementing the same for your daughter?
Yes, but the beauty is I don't need to, because she's from me. So she saw me doing it from the get-go. I think my mom and dad maybe came from a point or from a place where maybe one of their parents was not that. And maybe they suffered from that. So maybe they really put emphasis to this because it was important for them to correct that, you know. In the education, well, I tend to believe that we have the kids we need. And so to become better, I mean, and I think my mom and dad maybe saw that I needed that point of view. And I feel Lou needs another point of view, because Lou is tremendously human, overly human. Her humanity is so present in anything she does. Yeah.
And what is the flaw in your family you wish you could have changed?
The flow?
No, flaw, F-L-A-W.
Oh, the flaw.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to say only one?
You can say more.
Okay. Silence. Sometimes they use silence a little too much.
As a punishment?
No. I think they use silence because they were not in contact with the ability of saying things. They were afraid to hurt someone or hurt the other. And silence was a way to create the space to let the other think. But sometimes you need someone that faces you with words, even if it's not the right ones right there, right then, okay? But you need a voice back. So sometimes I was left, when I had certain questions, I was left with, you will understand. Or this cannot be said, or you cannot be told this. Not now, you will know. So sometimes it led me to the answer, sometimes it led me stranded, you know. So that's something I never do with Lou. I talk until she says, please mama, stop. So I'd rather a bit too much of this communication rather than no communication.
You're overcompensating for what you lacked.
Yes. And silence, you know, Anas, in a way that in Italian it's called omertà. Omertà is a forced silence, like you've been raised with. Sicilian are raised with a finger on their mouth. Yeah.
You said you had more.
Yeah. And then if you read the book again of your life, you go, oh, now I understand why she was silent about this, or she didn't explain to me this thing. Because maybe at that time, I wasn't full, I wasn't complete enough, I wasn't able to grasp the information. Maybe it would have destroyed me at that time. You know? So a bit like, you know, we say the master appears when the student is ready.
Maybe, I love this quote.
Yeah, maybe in the same way.
What are other flaws you were going to mention?
Praise modesty rather than breeding humility.
Praise modesty rather
than breeding humility. Using modesty as a tool. So we shouldn't say that this is a talented person, or we shouldn't say this voice is beautiful, or we shouldn't say this child is intelligent, or be modest. Yeah, of course. I mean, and plus, if someone, it's example. I mean, if you're born beautiful like Heidi Klum, she won't say of her she's beautiful. It's evident. Okay, so to me it was a bit, why can't we say what's there? You know? Why can't we just say, this child is brilliant? No, because then, you know, we'll give him ideas, or give her ideas. And this is wrong. I think you can't overdo it either. I mean, I know you can't raise a child saying to the child every day of his life or her life that she's great and she's the best and nothing. No, of course not. But you can also measure that, you know. Sometimes you can just send that little phrase that will represent, to me, hope. Hope that what you are and what you're doing is okay. To be seen again, valued for what you are, encouraged, and validated. It's about validation to me.
Yeah, and kids need that a lot. It's so funny how people get so uncomfortable when you compliment them.
Yes.
You're like, man, you're so talented. They're like, it's okay, Anas. I'm like, no, you are, and you know you are, so let's not play this game also.
Exactly.
Own it.
Exactly. But to own it doesn't prevent to be humble.
Correct.
Humble means to have your feet on the ground, and understanding holistically wise, something divine is connected to you. Okay, so to me, to be humble is to be grounded, to be modest. It's an intellectual process. Humility is not an intellectual process.
Interesting. Yeah, one is probably intentional.
Yes, and that's a flaw in me. Like to constantly say to someone, you shouldn't express your sentiment because it lacks elegance, or you shouldn't say what you are because it lacks humility, or you shouldn't think of yourself that you're good. I think we should. I think our children should think of themselves they are good if they are at something, because that's the fuel that will lead them to the journey that will then maybe lead them to a goal, you know?
I can easily prove what you said to be correct. For example, if like you said, then the child needs this validation and needs that tank is already full to explore and express themselves in the world. If that tank is missing, they will seek it somewhere outside.
Yes.
That's why they like the likes on an Instagram. That's why they like 100 people to compliment them and they still don't feel great. That's why they do 12 plastic surgeries.
Yes.
Because inside you don't feel full.
Exactly.
And that's the issue of being stingy with compliments.
Yes.
That's a problem for me. And I'm always thinking, if I have a partner, that partner should be very generous with their words.
I agree.
I don't like being in a relationship where I know they love me this much, but they show me this much.
Exactly.
I believe that's stingy.
Yes.
And I don't like stingy people.
Well, I'm with you. I'm so much on the same page, because it's also a matter of generosity, of giving of yourself. The whole thing. What risks are we taking when we are giving ourselves? Nothing. We take major risks if we don't give anything.
Okay. How was it being an only child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the only one left of 7. So my mother lost 3 before, barely had me. We're in 7 months and a half, and she almost died.
8 months, we're both premature.
And then she lost another 3.
Okay.
So I don't think I was ever treated like an only child. Because her soul, her heart was so big, and she was ready to love so many souls and beings. That was never treated like that, ever. I always felt I was part of something bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And were you bullied when you were a kid in school?
Yeah. Sicilian mother, I mean, big, thick brown hair, speaking Italian, and arriving at lunch with my meatballs in a Tupperware. Oh yeah, I was bullied. Those meatballs with tomato sauce. Were they bullied? Yeah, because I wasn't the classic, skinny, blonde, beautiful butterfly with the ham sandwich, or the cheese sandwich. In my lunchbox, I had way too much food, and that's how she wanted it, and because she thought I could share. So in time, I became a good friend for certain people who were okay to share.
Interesting.
But I was a danger to the ones who were not taught that sharing was important and was beautiful.
And what is, Lara, an insecurity you've struggled with throughout your life?
Which were my insecurities? That's what you mean?
Or what is an insecurity that can be even till now, like throughout your life you've had it?
Oh.
You struggled with it.
Gee, Anas, do you have 6 weeks? We should do a series. The way I look. But that's becoming much better now. Yeah, I was always the little Italian, little overweight Italian that laughed too loud. and loved too much. So the too much factor has been a big insecurity for me. I had to embrace it in a very peculiar way at some point, realizing that the person that I had chosen and that had chosen me loved that the most about me. So the day I realized that this one soul, who's the love of my life, loved this above anything about me, I went, what? Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
I can't laugh loud. I laugh really loud. When I laugh out of my heart, I laugh really loud. But this too much thing, this being too much thing, is something that breeds a lot of insecurity in me.
There's a very nice video I saw of Maya Angelou, God rest her soul, and she goes something along the line. She's like, I don't like people who don't laugh. There's something off about them. Be careful of people who don't laugh.
Yeah.
And it sounds funny, but it's quite deep.
It is deep.
You know, people who never, we know a lot of people who don't laugh. They're like, hey, like little giggles here and there.
Or they laugh only with
hold it.
Yeah, or with the bottom part of their face. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
It's frightening.
Yeah.
They laugh only with the lower part of their face. And my grandma used to say, never trust someone who doesn't love to eat.
I'm a foodie.
Yeah, me too.
Man, I can't date a girl who's not a foodie.
Yeah, it's difficult.
No way. I love food, so I would get screwed.
And you need to share. Food is the first manifestation of how much someone cares for you. That's how I was raised. My mother didn't really know how to say I love you, but God, did she know how to put on a table everything that meant I love you.
Nice. There's a fun part of an old movie that said, if a guy gives you the last piece on his plate, marry him.
That's amazing that you say that. That's the fight between me and my husband. He says, no. I said, I can't. This last bite is yours. Otherwise, I won't sleep. So yes, I always do that. Yeah.
I read something so interesting that you studied children criminology.
Yes.
Wow. Why?
I have an issue with violence amongst children. Unfortunately, in another life, I witnessed something of that level of violence. I was really a child, and it was a real drama. And I remember saying, I want to understand what happened in this mind. I want to understand why this child did this. How could he be so violent? How could he be so cruel? What happens? What was triggered? So maybe the gentleman you were talking about would say it's hormonal, it's biochemical, it's defined by something neurological, he couldn't do anything about it. I think he had seen something, or he himself, this kid was suffering something of that kind. So being shocked, I thought, I'd love to specialize in this. I'd love to understand and help. But then, just music kidnapped me, and it became a subject in my life. It became something that sometimes I talk about or I write about, And I've noticed love, and I know it will sound a bit, simplistic, but love is the only cure against any kind of violence.
I believe that. Yeah. I also believe prisoners that are in jail are lacking a lot of that.
Absolutely.
And the whole system is really screwed.
And rotten. Yeah.
The way what is designed today in jails is not going to actually fix anything.
It's going to make it worse.
It's just bringing angry people.
It's going to make it worse.
There are a few, I think, in certain Scandinavian countries that are now a bit different to rehabilitate prisoners. And it's more, they'll do art, they'll do singing and things that are different, and they'll feel valued. And that's the way you bring them up to hopefully they leave differently. But especially what we see in the American documentaries and American movies, you're just making a monster a more angry monster.
Definitely, yeah.
The monster is lacking love, is lacking so many things. So
I agree. I agree. I agree.
So-
I agree. And the problem is in this society, though, love is sometimes pictured as a caricature. You know, it's, oh yeah, she's talking about love. Oh, she's singing about love. She's writing another song about love. Can she talk about a very important social theme, or, you know? This thing is the fifth element, and this thing saves people. We all run after that. This is how we get up in the morning, go to bed content and fulfilled, because we felt loved, considered, seen. So I think it's time, you know, to put it back to where it belongs, to this highest importance, the highest importance.
what did you see that triggered you to want to study this?
Well, these people are no longer on this planet, you know, they probably are in another dimension. I saw someone abusing someone else. I saw a child abusing another child. And I reacted to it. I called people. So I was part of this terrible drama because I was the one to open the door instead of closing the door on it. So it was a terrible shock to me as well. Because normally, silence does the job. Okay? And I couldn't stay quiet. So because the drama created a bigger one because of me not respecting the silence, I realized that the only way out of this was to understand it, to try to understand what had happened in that room, why, you know. How can we dissolve the silence? How can we encourage people to talk when they are in danger? How can we, you know, how can we change our minds and put them in a place where it's safe to speak about something like this? It's okay to talk about something like this. Actually, it's a responsibility we have. We have a responsibility to talk when we see something like that. Now, talking 40 years from now, I'm talking about we go back 42 years. Yeah. So times have changed, thank God. People are now a little more open to talk about certain things and to lift the veil on this. But we still have a lot of work to do on this. It's still very taboo. Sexual abuse is still very taboo. Especially if it happens in a secluded world called family.
Where most of it happens.
Yes.
It's always uncle, cousin, somebody.
Exactly.
Somebody you trust.
It's always somebody you trust.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very messed up. And I've witnessed it too in my life, and I've seen and heard so many of those stories, and I talk about it very openly on the show. Because it's really messed up. It kills me how if somebody who is an adult gets abused, at least they can, I'm not making it better, but they can defend themselves, they can fight, they can do something. A child is helpless.
Yes.
And what you just did, you just screwed his future.
Yes.
He's done.
Yes, absolutely.
And if, let's say, he's the person that needs to go to therapy, he didn't have to do that kind of therapy.
Exactly.
Now you obliged him to invest in that. If he even invests in that,
there's no guarantee. Yeah, there's no guarantee that he will get out of that.
Screwed.
Of course.
Yeah.
So yes, that's where I, in a very subtle way, I talked about silence, and in another way, I wanted to investigate into people's mind. You know.
It's crazy how I've heard also certain stories where the daughter would run to a parent and say to her mother, my cousin did this to me.
And she didn't believe it.
Either one, that's such an obvious response, or what did you do?
Oh, well, yeah.
Imagine making a child feel guilty.
Well, it happens all the time.
Like,
yeah,
they came to you screaming, maybe not literally screaming, but there's screaming for help or guidance or something or comfort, and you make them feel guilty.
It's terrible.
That's the last time that child will ever come to you.
Or to anyone.
Correct.
That's the drama. I was so lucky about that. I mean, because on that subject matter, my mother raised me with a consciousness of talking about anything. I remember even the day she said, should it even be your father, you come to me. I was 4 years old. She started this amazing brainwash about this, because unfortunately she also had been witness of something like that. So we have a story, you know. We have a program in the family of that, and so my mother that's the one subject she was not silent about with me. Yeah.
It's funny how our mothers did the same. My mother was always asking us, did anybody touch you? Did anybody do anything? And we're like, Mama, no.
I would tell you, yeah. Like I kept on saying,
she made it okay that we can come.
Yes, exactly.
And we were boys, so imagine having daughters too. That's way scarier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a lesser pain if it's a boy. It's not a lesser.
No, not lesser. But I know that the target is a lot of girls. Maybe I can't even put a number, but the target is usually a girl.
Yeah.
And it's funny how people would rather stay silent than cause turbulence in a family on the account of a... By the way, I swear a lot and I'm trying not to. Because I don't know. I don't know. You're so eloquent and elegant, and I'm like, Anas, don't say the F word. I'm like, I want to express myself.
Are we talking about shit or fuck?
Fuck. Okay, perfect.
Okay, it's okay. You know, release yourself.
So yeah,
go ahead.
Because I'm very passionate about this shit,
yeah,
you know,
me too.
and it really bothers me how. Okay, I feel relieved now. Because you're so like.
No, I swear. Oh, believe me. And
in
many languages.
I read the statistic and I actually believe it. People who swear are usually more truthful people.
Yeah, and less violent.
Yeah, and one, because they're venting.
Yes.
Two, is they're expressive.
Yes.
They're not thinking too much about how to tippy-toe around the subject.
I agree.
They're so honest.
I agree.
Oh, the movie's fucking great. He's expressive. He loved it.
Yes.
You know, he's not trying to do it in a dirty way. He's really happy.
Yes.
So... But yeah, this topic really messes with me because especially in Arab and Asian societies, it's what you said, the Sicilian.
Yeah, being raised with a finger on your lips.
The same in the Arab world, and
I know.
Just stay quiet, things will be fine. And I used to say, people shove shit under the rug and they say, oh, there's nothing in the living room and the rug is this big.
I know.
Like, no, it's nothing. I don't see anything. But yeah, there's a big lump in your rug. What do you mean there's nothing in the room? No, as long as it's under, we're good.
Yeah.
No, nobody's good.
And this breeds destroyed human being from the inside. And then they become the ones who perpetrate the same kind of violence. 9 out of 10.
Wow.
That's a statistic too.
That's scary.
And that's why music is so important.
Yeah, how did you go there?
That's why music is so important, because it does lighten your soul. It does allow you to express things you couldn't say. It releases the silence. It makes a safe place in your mind where you can easily develop your thought, vent, scream, cry, swear. So songwriting started really early in my life because I needed to have a safe place to say things I couldn't talk about.
I love that. Yeah, another thing I made as a rule, I can't date a person that's not musical.
Or that doesn't like music or doesn't...
Like they don't feel it.
Yeah.
And some people don't.
I know.
Like
some people don't like music. Some people turn off the radio.
Out.
Yeah.
And I don't care any. You want to tell me reggaeton, you want to tell me Afro, you want to tell me R&B, you want to tell
Doesn't matter.
anything. If it has a rhythm and beautiful lyrics, your body should naturally
Move around
by
that.
nature.
Yeah, of
So
course.
if you're not, I'm like, I'm afraid of you. Like the laughter thing. I'm like, no. Okay, so you got into music because at a very early age. Do you mind listening to your own voice and songs?
As long as I'm in the making, I don't. Once I'm finished, I don't listen to it
Really?
anymore. No, I don't.
So if it plays by coincidence, you'd run away?
Yeah. Yes,
Okay.
we could say that. But I really am not the one. I mean, I don't have me on my playlist.
Yeah. It's like those people who have their iPhone background, like a portrait of them. I'm like, wow.
Really?
You know, sometimes I do this. I'm like, everybody, show me your iPhone background now, because it says something about you.
Yes.
And some people love themselves to that narcissistic level. They have their picture alone. It's not like with their family.
Yeah.
It's them. Like,
Wow.
and I'm like, wow.
It's so remote
Okay,
from anything I am.
It's very reflective.
Yeah. Well, I have Lou and Kyla, my little girl and my dog.
Nice. How is your relationship with food?
I love it. I love food. It made me very happy. It also killed me at some point.
What does that mean?
Well, at some point remember I told you my mother didn't know how to say I love you, but she definitely knew how to put something on a table that said it even 1,000 times better. There was a point where it was enough to be told I love you through food only. And I felt obliged in certain times of my life to eat it all because it was made with such consideration and love. It was impolite not to finish your plate or to say you disliked something or it wasn't exactly what you wanted. You can't, you have to eat. We come from the war. We were poor people, we were miserable. How dare you? How dare you not have a sacred relationship with food? So there was a moment where I had to really detach myself from it and nourish myself in another way. I don't think it's a secret because I've written it in my book. The book this strange biography that I made, which is a culinary biography where I use the table to tell my stories because this is really what happened in my life. Most of the important times of my life were around a table or were triggered thanks to what happened on the table. So there's a moment, there's a story in the book that I tell with a lot of honesty that I suffered from a complex eating disorder for 7 years. At a very, not at a very early stage of my life. I was 29 when it started. So I was a grown up, So how come that thing happened so late? Because I wasn't allowed to express it before, I was really under the shelter of food, under the belief that food was noble and not to be played with. Okay. Food is food. There's nothing sacred about it. It's a blessing when you have it. You have to feel gratitude for it, but it can't become the center of your life. It can't be the element that triggers respect or brings validation. That was a killer to me. To see and feel that women in my family shined because they were great cooks only. What? And they were. And I'm not bad either, by the way. But I'm not just that, So that matriarchat, I don't know how to say that word in...
Matriarchy.
Yes. Was immensely respected because of that ability.
That function.
Yes. Which to me is only a part of these 5 fingers. I mean, but it's not our full hand, So my relationship with food now is food, and food is fantastic. When I want, when I need it, when it's okay to have it. And if I'm not hungry and it's noon, it's okay not to eat. And if I don't like something and I ordered it myself in a restaurant and they were nice enough to bring it to the table, but it's not to my liking, I don't swallow it because someone has brought it to me and I have to pay for it. I don't make a mess about it, I don't make a fuss about it, but I go, I'm sorry, I don't like it, and I don't eat it.
I love that. You know, I love that because we are made to feel guilty. It's I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but when we were brought up, they always used to say, but in Somalia, people are dying of hunger.
Do I hate that line?
Why do you, don't attach Somalia with only famine, which is a sad situation there, but also Somalia has 1,000 beautiful things about it.
Exactly.
Don't make it seem always like a child who's dying from famine. I know that, but now that became the stereotype and the image of one whole nation and whole people. And then we're all feeling guilty all the time, and you're not even hungry, like you said, and you keep eating, and then you have problems.
And wasting. Because you keep eating, you don't eat everything you're ordering, you throw most of the time, you buy too much, and then you feel sick on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
You grow old, graceless, with every type of allergy, diabetes, or digestive problems. Lord knows I know about it. So why are we raised with that obligation? Why can't we be a little more instinctive? Why can't we be a little more the animal that we are? Because we're beautiful animals, but we don't listen to that inner animal, like we don't listen to the inner child, which is so connected to the animal.
That's so true. I discuss a lot, even in lectures that I give, how the inner child or the animal in us is a curious one, but with conditioning and programming and don't ask, no, don't try, no, don't eat. Suddenly you're not curious anymore.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw paint and taste dust but when you're young, that's all you do. You open drawers, you trust, you play, you don't feel shame or humiliated, so you do it.
Of course.
But then we lose it. Although some artists find it or they maintain it. And art, I mean in all forms, even in engineering. You need to be a child.
Yes, never leave that hand. Never leave that little hand. Yes. Most of us do forget the inner child. Unless we decide we have suffered enough. The day we decide we have suffered enough, of not listening to that, we go back to it. Because it is our primary instinct.
Yes. Money, how is your relationship with money?
It's cool to do things. It's fantastic to buy stuff for you and people you love. It concretely brings comfort, and I'm talking material comfort. But to me, it's an energy. It needs to flow. Something that you make, but you have to let go as well. You have to give. It's amazing in my life how lucky I got when I started giving, even if I didn't have much. I mean, the sky opened up. When I remember this one particular amazing story where my mother calls me saying that her best friend, her best childhood friend, was about to lose her house. I had just landed in Canada. We were there, a year? And we had 3 jobs. Me and Rick, we had put a little money aside. So she's really crying on the phone. She's really saying, and she's going to lose her house, and it's the house that you've been to every year on holiday, and it's blah, blah. I said, Mama, what do you want? She said, well, can you help? And so we sat with Rick and we really counted. What did we have? And I don't need to say the figure because it's really not important. But we sent everything we had but the rental, what we needed to pay the rent for the next month. We saved the mortgage. We saved the house because we paid that bit of the mortgage that she couldn't pay for. It was not just a bit, it was like a whole year. In the same year, I sold 200,000 records, won my first award, got a huge, massive hit throughout Quebec and Canada. My life changed from this to this in the same year, and very close to that moment.
You know why?
No, I'm interested to. I have my take on it, but I'd like to know yours.
It's the mindset of abundance.
I was talking about it. I was going to say about abundance, but I didn't know if we were going to go. Yes, of
We're
course.
on the same page, yeah.
Yeah, the mindset of course.
Yeah, and when people are like, don't buy this tissue box, buy this tissue box. Don't. That kind of mindset, I call it a poor mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much in your bank. You have a poor mind.
Yeah.
You know, you're miser.
Yeah.
You're like, no, don't spend it. Go to this 2-star hotel instead of this 3-star. It's these little annoying things, although you can afford all of them. So that, I think, doesn't attract money. And I think generally, the law of life, when you're desperate, you repel. So when you're desperate for a girl, she doesn't like you.
Of course.
When you're desperate, I want to be the biggest blah, blah, blah. I want to be the biggest singer. You're so desperate for it.
The universe.
Music doesn't like you now.
Of course.
The universe doesn't like you.
Yes.
But if you, I believe, this is where, now we're jumping to different things, but where I believe law of attraction works is when you truly internally believe you deserve something,
Yes.
not say it.
Of
That you're
it's-
because those desperate people, it's insecurity. You don't believe you deserve more money or to be the best singer. You say it because it's an ego.
The silent thought creates your reality, not the words you say.
I love the silent thought creates your reality, not the words. Sometimes both, but it has to start with the silent.
I meant to, to say what you meant, what you were saying. When people chit chat about these things, like I want to be this or I want to be that, but they don't really believe they can.
Yes, internally.
Yes, that's when it
When
never
they're
happens.
alone.
Yeah, when they're alone. So money has to flow. It has to come from one hand to the other, and you have to be smart with it, of course.
Yes.
But you can't be obsessed with it. Money has no value. It has an importance, but it's really ephemeral.
I was listening to Joe Rogan, and he said something so basic but interesting. He goes, yeah, but money is paper or a number on a digital website.
Yeah.
It's not even gold. If we go back,
Yeah.
you can't eat gold.
Of course, you can't grade
Like
it on
there's
your...
no value.
Yeah.
But maybe because it was shiny and limited, it became a commodity. I don't know. But when you really think of it, money, in case of war, the paper is useless. In financial crisis, this paper is useless. You can't even go to the bank to bring it out.
Of course.
So is it to your survival, it's useless in a case of an emergency.
Yes.
Because you can't eat it, you won't use it as a torch or a flame. It's nothing. You probably burn your money just to make a fire.
Exactly.
It's funny.
Yes.
But we run on it. I'm like, I'll transfer you money. Ta-ding! And you're like, thanks. It doesn't mean anything. It means, I don't know.
We run on it, but we're not conscious of it. We're not conscious that we're running on something that is totally empty.
And virtual. It's a game.
Yeah, it is.
And you're like, I transferred it, and I'm in Dubai. You transfer me something. I'm like, oh, thanks. In half a second. You didn't literally do anything. It's just a electronic message that went from one place to another that said, this $10 now is in your account.
Yeah,
so thanks for the $10. Yeah.
My mother used to say, we're all poor and we don't know.
Nice. And fame, how's that relationship?
Oh, that's really a collateral consequence of a journey that ends up in a moment. Fame is a moment. Fame is not the essence.
Do you like it?
The essence, I love it. The essence of what I do and why I do it, yes. Fame is an animal that you have to domesticate at some point. Yeah.
Like an ego.
Exactly. So I don't run on it. I understand and appreciate people see that first. because I wouldn't be sitting here if I wasn't famous. But then it's only a key that opens a door. And then we have a conversation.
You're tapping onto so many things that I love. You know, the slogan of the show is discovering the human behind the title. So that's, you start because you're popular, maybe you come or qualify, first criteria.
Yeah.
But then what's your brain like? How do you...
Yeah. What's your heart? What's your soul? What's your journey?
My favorite quote, speak so I can see you.
Speak so I can see you.
Yeah. Tell me about your love journey.
Oh, well, chaotic, like most of us, to start with. But never, never hopeless. Never. I never ever thought for 1 second in my life that what I live right now, that what I've been cherishing and what I've been blessed with for the last 13 years did not exist or wasn't going to happen to me. I knew it was going to happen to me. I didn't know when. I knew, though, with what kind of people, what kind of person. I exactly knew this man existed.
What's his name?
Gabriel.
Gabriel, okay.
And I just knew. La nonna used to say, if you exist, he exists too, or she, whatever you want.
Nice.
So I knew someone that had this same, that was wearing the same lantern, you know, was walking around somewhere. I knew. When, how, no, that I didn't. But so my relationship with love is, it's the essence of my life. It's the most important thing of my life. The love I have for Lou, the love I have for Gabriel. And it animates me. It makes me who I am. I couldn't live without being loved and loving. I couldn't. That I know for sure.
Well, have you had bad love?
Yeah. I was not a great lover always. I haven't been a great, you know, and can we say intelligent lover? I don't know. Wise lover. I wasn't a great master of it in the beginning because being so convinced it was going to come, sometimes I used to light my fire under the wrong wood. It was a great wood, but it wasn't my wood. But I wanted it so much, you know. My mom used to say when I was younger, you're enamored with love, you're in love with love. You want love so much that you paint anything with love, even someone who doesn't contain it. And I said, everyone contains love, Mama. No, that's not true, she said. Not everyone is ready for it. You need to be brave to love. You need to be ready to lose a lot. And that is something I've always been conscious of. You need to be ready to lose a lot to love.
Can you elaborate? What is losing?
Well, giving everything, you know, and maybe taking that chance. You don't know who you're facing as you're giving everything, as you're opening up everything of you. Maybe you're facing someone who needs all of it and can't give anything back. Maybe you're facing someone who hates that and will make you pay for this. Maybe you're facing someone who doesn't understand it and gets completely triggered by it in the wrong way. You know, love doesn't always understand love. I think there's different ways of loving, but yeah, and that's what I mean. I mean, if someone loves in a certain way, and your ability to love is this kind of love, but in front of you, you have someone who doesn't get that kind of love, doesn't get that kind of way, you know, you will be thrown off.
100%.
So you have to be ready to lose, but I was not ready to compromise. So I could not love any differently. I couldn't be anything else but this. And I knew the person who was like me was my other half, or there's no such thing as other half, but I mean, understood love like I did, or loved love like I did, existed. But before I found him, I did hit a few walls. I did. Sometimes I was so off with it. I was so wrong with it. And firmly convinced I was right, totally convinced this was the right person. And how could it be? No, this is the right guy. This is the right soul for me. We think alike. Not at all. But I needed so tremendously to be loved and loved, because I didn't know me enough at that time, that I would color the person with my colors and ask him to respond to my way of loving. I was so wrong in doing this. I hurt you. You hurt people when you do that.
You have a beautiful usage of words on expressing yourself. You should do a TEDx talk. You do. Very well painted, because you're speaking of love languages. Like your mother used to also show love through cooking, which is acts of service. And I really believe relationships. I did a game on Instagram about the 5 love languages, and I said, when you think of your partner, do like a scoring, just to get an awareness. So when you think, so you and Gabriel, let's play this game. So who's the better one in words of affirmation?
Gabe.
Okay. Who's the better one in physical touch?
Me.
Who's the better one in quality time?
Both of us.
Who's the better one in acts of service?
It rolls. In certain periods of my life, it's him. In certain period of his life, it's me. Yeah.
And
but it's not simultaneous.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah.
And gifts?
To give gifts.
Yeah,
gifts.
gifting.
Me.
4-3. You will not do this with your friends. Some of them will be one tuck or this. And it just gives you awareness on who really is giving. Now, I'm not saying it should be the draw. Sometimes one of the love languages is more than enough to fill your love tank. Let's say you're a words person and he's the greatest words of affirmation guy. You're quite happy. Although we like all kinds of love, but that's so important for you. Like you say, Anas, without words, it breaks me. I don't feel loved. So, but it's a very important thing. And I think that's what relationships, when you start to feel that your love language is not being translated the way you think to the other person, you get frustrated, they don't feel loved.
Exactly.
It doesn't work.
This is why for gift, I was about to say both again, but I didn't, because he understands, to me, a gift is very important. Not to receive one, to give one. So he lets me be the one who gifts more, okay? Because he knows that's really important for me. But if he doesn't give me something, concretely, I mean, whether it's, I don't know, a scarf, a ring, whatever, an evening in a restaurant, what matters to me is that he takes the time to go to the restaurant with me. I don't care about the ring or the scarf. I care about the time.
We forgot one, quality time.
Okay, both.
Both.
Yes.
Nice. What is a great date that is less than 20 euros?
A great date that is less than 20 euros. So you're talking concretely here, like you're...
Yeah. He's supposed to take you out.
Yeah. I tell you right away. A loaf of bread with a piece of cheese.
Okay.
That's it. And we have, in Sicily, with 20 euros, we have a loaf of bread, a piece of cheese, some amazing ham, and we have a great bottle of wine.
Okay.
So I would go for bread, cheese, and wine.
Nice.
And anywhere in the city. I mean, we could be in the car, we could be facing the ocean, we could be sitting, with both our asses on the volcano. I don't care.
Nice.
We could be anywhere. Yeah.
You've written a lot of songs about love, and you sing about love. But what does love mean to you? The definition. What is love?
Love is the ability to know someone really, really, really well and love him anyway. Love makes so that happiness is a concrete thing. Even if I believe that happiness is desiring constantly what you have, what you still have. To me, that's being like, to me, happiness is to be able to still desire what you have. And love does that. So love feeds the desire and makes you want what you already have over and over and over again. So I would say that.
I like that. And you've been 13 years together?
Yes.
What do you, and I hope it's a healthy, happy partnership. What, in your opinion, now that you've experienced different relationships, is a very important thing to have a relationship work well?
Time. Quality time together. The ability of listening very carefully. Even if it seems like he or she isn't saying anything much, drop your phone, leave it on the counter. When someone that you love is talking, look at him, look at her, talk to him, or listen. Stop doing whatever you're doing as someone is talking to you, because there's always something important. And if you can't, apologize and ask for a 5-minute break before you will be able to turn your attention to the person.
Fantastic. Do you like being mom?
I love it. I'm so grateful for this. I'm really lucky to be Lou's mom. I'm so lucky. I told you in the beginning, I think we make the child we need. I needed Lou badly. She's my biggest teacher. She's my greatest laugh. And she's so, so beautiful inside out. Yeah, very lucky. Can't wait to see her.
Soon. And are you a good mom?
I ask this question to myself pretty much every day. And I remember saying this to this amazing master of mine. I have this person who I work with, I've been working with for over the decade. And I remember saying to him, do you think I'm a good mother? And he said, the only way to answer this question is to realize that you wouldn't be asking the question if you weren't one good mother. You wouldn't be asking the question if you were not a good mother. A bad mother doesn't ask herself the question.
It's too scary.
So I think I learned to be day after day a good mother, a better mother. But we have a great partnership in that with Gabe. Gabe is, he met her, she was only 4 years old. So he's not the father, but he's
the dad.
He's a dad. Oh, yeah, big time. So we're a great team. We're a great team.
And that's what a relationship is, Lara.
Yeah.
I'm shocked at the majority number of relationships where they're not teammates.
I know.
It's like, I can't believe she's doing better than me. I need to do better. She's on your team, bro.
Yeah. When she does better, she does it for
but if you see each other as a competition, you're already in the wrong relationship.
Yeah, of course.
You should be, and if you're not happy, you should ask yourself, why am I not happy? Why am I envious? Why am I jealous? You have a problem inside.
Again.
You should be like the best cheerleader for each other. Sometimes you'll do well, sometimes Gabe will do well.
Of course.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And what is success for him is different than you. It's fine.
Absolutely.
Tell me about Luisa.
La mamma. Luisa. She is the soil of me being content. She is the earth I have been able to finally grow my happiness. so much of what she is and she was, has been brought back to me now in my life. I'm so grateful for being Luisa's daughter. I'm so grateful for being half a Sicilian.
She had a rare illness called Lewy dementia.
Yes, which is la démence à corps de Lewy, so body Lewy dementia, which is a strange breed between Alzheimer's, Parkinson, and hallucinations. She had hostile hallucinations, really violent hallucinations. So she would come back sometimes and then lose it again. So she didn't progressively leave. She would come back again, here and there. And that was the most painful thing.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how was it for you seeing your mom, who was an idol in your eyes, go through that?
The most painful thing I've ever experienced. It was an immense process of resilience. That's the thing that made me the most resilient in my life. So to take this a terrible event and creating and learning out of it. Yeah. The most difficult thing was the moment, I think it's so banal, but the moment she forgot how I was called, you know. And she was talking to me about me. She said, "Do you know Lara?" I said, "Mama, it's me." "No." "Do you know Lara?" And so I started playing the game. I said, "Yes." "You know, let me tell you about Lara." And she spoke about me. She said amazing things she had never said before. And so she healed me. She cured some of these terrible, holes I had in my heart as she was sick. It was amazing. It was truly, as painful as it was as beautiful.
Do you miss her?
I do. But she's there, you know. The other night I was in Canada. I had this huge room filled with beautiful people, and I dedicated her a song. I sang Caruso for her, and I swear she was there. Her energy, of course, I didn't see anything or so, you know, but her energy, the warmth of Luisa was there.
Have you ever played the cube test or answered the cube test question?
No.
Have you ever heard of Kokology Test?
No.
Lovely. So you play with me now.
Okay.
If you trust me enough. Close your eyes. There's no stunts.
No worries. I'm not afraid.
So can you imagine, Lara, empty desert? Nothing is there, not you, nothing. It's empty. And you suddenly see a cube. Can you describe the cube?
Yes. It's big enough for me to sit on it. It's got different little doors. So it's made out of little doors. The upper side is a mirror. And in the doors, as I'm opening them, there's a lot of information. There's a glass of water, there's a book, there's a flower. All the doors contain something. And the color is amber, like golden amber.
Is it transparent or we can see inside?
We can see inside.
Is it on the sand, floating?
It's on the sand.
On the sand. After the cube, you see a ladder. Where is it?
The ladder is on the sand.
Is it on the cube? Is it separate, independent?
It's independent.
Standing taller than the cube?
Actually it's on the sand. It's
flat.
Yes, it's flat on the sand, but it definitely is an invitation to take it and put it somewhere.
Okay. And is it more than 12 steps or less?
It's 9 steps.
Okay. And after the ladder, Lara, you see a horse. Tell me about the horse. Where is it?
It's running. It's running fast. It looks at me. It's clear that it's there for me.
And is it close to any of the things standing by the cube or the ladder? Or?
It's as if I was in a circle and the horse is going around this perimeter this way. And the horse is black.
Okay. Does it have a saddle?
No.
Okay. After the horse, you see flowers. Where are the flowers?
They're growing out of the sand.
Where? Next to what?
Next to me.
Cube, ladder, horse. Nothing close? You literally don't exist. You're viewing this.
Oh, I don't exist.
Yeah. So you as a human is not in this picture.
Well, the flowers are all over. Actually, they're all over. They're around the cube. They're going through the ladder. They're all over.
Okay.
Yeah.
In good health? Or what?
Yes, they're beautiful. They're ponies. And they're like almost purple pink. Yeah.
And the last thing is you see a storm. Where is it?
Very far.
Is it approaching any of the elements?
No.
So it's not affecting anything?
No.
Okay, you can open your eyes. Can I get the cards? This one? Both, actually. I'll explain it to you now.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Lovely. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a Japanese psychology test. And it plays on the subconscious. So the cube is you. It's the sense of self or the ego. Yours was not a too big one. You could sit on it. So it was a healthy size, I would call. So it's between big and small. So the big is bold, confident, and willing to be seen. The small is introvert, shy, modest, quiet, rather blend in than stand out. So you're somewhere in between, I would say. Standing on the sand means stable, knows what they want from life and intend to get it, logical and precise. And you said it's you could see inside, so hollow, still busy discovering yourself. Okay. Ladder is family and friends. So if it's shorter than the cube because it was down, you regard yourself as an alpha type and leader. If it's not too many steps, you said it says between 3 and 5 and 12. Prefer having a handful of friends, but you can entertain acquaintances to a certain degree. Not too many, it seems.
Yes.
Was it new or old, the ladder?
It was wood. It was not you.
Not new.
No, it was old wood, beautiful old wood.
So old, known your friends for a long time, or you know each other well. It was not touching the cube. Was it close to the cube or far from the cube?
Close.
Resolve your problems without the help of family and friends. Okay. Again, it was a short ladder because it's 9 steps. Regard yourself as an alpha type and leader. Wow, that's a double one. Okay. Horse is your partner. Doesn't have a saddle. You view your partner as an uncontrollable and unpredictable.
Definitely.
And the interesting thing is Gabe was protecting the whole circumference of the place. So your family and friends
Yes.
and what I will say next, and you as the so he kept going and going and going, which was nice. You said it was not brown, but it says here, it's the closest one. So, sturdy brown working horse, you seek dependability and reliability in a partner. So I'd say maybe towards that. And then flowers is children, or the essence of children, like people who like children. Here you have Lou, and she was everywhere. So she was around your family, around your friends, around Gabe, around you, and in a vibrant blossoming garden reflects the health and prosperity of your children as well as your relationship with them. So you weren't lying all this time. And then near the cube, so it's part of it, it shows you wish for a closer relationship with your child. The storm is fear, stress, and anxiety, vaguely in sight or in the horizon. You're at a more peaceful inner place. However, the closer the storm, for people who have that. And you said it doesn't engage anything, so you consider the threat, if they're manageable, and you have the confidence in resolving it. It's cool, right?
It is cool. I love this game.
Now you do it to Gabe.
Yes.
Without him knowing, before he watches this.
I will.
It's a very good test. And this is another thing, I'm going to give you a copy of it. Oh, I don't have the die. Where's the die? You lost it? I think so. Somebody lost it. Okay, it comes with a die, but we don't necessarily need it. It's okay. Ah, it's here. It was under the cards. Okay. So, this is a card game. You should play like in groups.
Okay.
You can play one-on-one, but and if you're on a really boring dinner, just bring the cards.
Okay.
It's going to change everything.
I don't go to boring dinners.
Okay, I respect that. Mix it in your way, and I'll just take one.
I've been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, not fun.
Yeah, I know.
I'm too old to do these things. Do you know the definition of freedom? Refusing an invitation to dinner without having to give an excuse.
Nice. Okay, choose one. Okay. Let's do fate, so open up. Oh, okay. Okay. So I'm going to ask, then this is how you answer. So what was your dream job when you were a kid? Throw.
Oh.
On the floor. Everyone, me and you. So what was your dream job? That's everyone.
Oh, okay.
So both of us have
my
to
dream
answer.
job when I was a child? I wanted to be a musician and an artist.
Really?
Yes.
From early age?
Yeah, I was 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to be a footballer. Yeah. Past 3 surgeries, I stopped.
Oh.
Yeah. But it was a good time though. I still love the sport. Okay. So, Lara, what is the best advice you've ever received? Do you remember something you can't forget?
Remember, it's not your fault, and be grateful every day.
Who said that?
The person that I grew up with as an adult.
The person you grew up with as an adult?
Yes.
It's like a family member or lover?
No, it's a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not your fault.
And be grateful every day. So don't take responsibility for all the things that are a judgment, basically. So don't look at the judgment as being part of your life. So because the thing that attacks us the most is the judgment.
Yes.
Whether the one we have on ourselves or the one that people have on us, okay? So remember, it's not your fault is a mantra to say, guilt does not exist in this planet, you know, where you are content, and be grateful every day.
And what is the most hurtful thing somebody has told you?
I don't want to say it because it's not necessary to remember. It doesn't deserve to end such a beautiful interview.
We're not ending now.
Or to be part of it.
But something sticks in your head.
Yes, but...
And many things are one main thing.
It's one thing. But it's not, it's just an opinion.
And it's funny how opinions scar.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to say something really bad, but I have to say it. You know, an opinion is like an asshole. Everyone has one.
I use the same quote. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Who is somebody that has passed away and every time you remember them, your heart aches?
No one. No one. Because even if my heart aches, it also rejoices because I don't just have bad memories or bad connection to that person who passed away.
So you remember them in the good also,
the good
or you
way.
celebrate them?
Yes, I do. Exactly.
Not only saying that you do, but you actually do?
Yeah, I consciously do. I consciously do. Yes.
If you could write a letter to your mom, Louisa, and she would read it today, what would you write?
I did write a letter to La Mama, and I read it the day she passed away. In a sense, it said that I had the privilege to call this woman Mama, and that made me who I am. And I wanted to thank her for everything she did, everything she said, everything she made every day of her life to make me Lara. Basically, that's what I said.
And would you say the same thing now?
I know, you know, I know much more now, you know, than when she passed away. So I'm also able to say to La Mama that I'm sorry for her, for certain things that she chose, and that even if I grieve, I don't hold anything against her. I understand. Yeah, I understand everything, and I'm sorry for her, and I forgive everything. Yeah, forgiveness has been a big part of healing for me.
Lara, what do you say to the people who I've spoken to who say they just can't forgive? Like it's bad. They're like, and some therapists told them it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't need to. Yeah, I know. It's interesting to hear that.
Yeah.
Because I know forgiveness is for you before the other person, right?
Yeah, well, forgiveness is healing in itself, you know?
And I've heard that a few times.
Well, the people who cannot forgive they just need to still be connected to the pain. And so until they haven't suffered enough, they can't forgive. It's because they need to suffer more than they need to forgive. So it can be judged. It's only a condition. They don't have the tools. They don't have the ability when they still are unable to forgive. They don't have the ability to let go of that pain. It doesn't make them unintelligent, doesn't make them dumb, it doesn't make them inconsistent. It just makes them people who are still holding on to that person or that event that makes them suffer. Until that day where they will have suffered enough and they will let go of that blanket of rocks.
I'm telling you have a way of words. What does Pierre mean to you?
Pierre, mon papa? I didn't understand the question.
What does he mean to you?
Oh. Well, Dad was the music, was the belief that it was okay to dream to be an artist. Even if he was the one who favored modesty to humility because of his insecurities, still he was concretely the guy who took the guitar, took this little girl, you know, brought her to the cabaret or the jazz bar and accompanied her. You know? brought me into the Grand Place. My dad sang with me and played guitar with me and then removed his hat and asked for money. The first time I earned money with my singing was because my dad brought me to La Grand Place in Brussels. And we sang in cafes and jazz bar, and then he held out the hat. How amazing was that? And with that money, I could buy myself a beautiful suit that I dreamt of. Because I remember this is how it started. I said, you know, Dad, I saw this amazing suit. I would love it. How much does it cost? At the time it was, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 Belgian francs, 5,000 Belgian francs. He said, okay. He said, we'll go earn it. You'll understand. And so he took the guitar, you know, asked me to step in the car. We arrived in Grand Place and we started singing in these different restaurants. Until we had the money, he counted. And when we had the money, he said, we have enough. He said, let's go buy the suit.
Nice. What a lesson.
Yeah. So that is the Belgian concrete guy who taught me how rationally make something out of your life. Yeah.
What does Lou mean to you?
Everything. Lou is my life. Lou is my voice. I hear my voice in Lou's voice.
It's crazy how fast that answer came. You see? How instinctive.
Yeah. She's everything to me.
Seems like a good young lady.
Yeah, she's so cool. And funny. I laugh my head out with her, you know.
Gabe in one word.
Magic.
Why do you say that?
Because that's what he is.
He's a magician, right?
On top of it, he is. But he really is the incarnation of the etymology of the word.
If you had a dinner table with any 3 people in any time, dead or alive, and you're sitting and you have 3 people, 3 guests, who would be on your table?
Gabe.
Okay.
Lou. And it includes,
no, you're there.
It includes
you're
me.
there.
And my friend Masayo, my Japanese friend, who's the purest human being I know on this earth.
Wow. That's a big claim. So you're not choosing any celebrity, any athlete, singer, historical figure. It's just your people.
Yes.
Can you actually do that dinner?
Of course.
Yeah, that's good.
I can.
They're all, like, even your Japanese friend is alive.
Yes.
Okay. You should, that's an invitation now. Okay. Hypothetically, if you had died yesterday, what would be something you regret not being able to do?
Until now? No. I have no regrets. I may have some, not even, I was going to say remorse, but I don't. I don't have any regrets. Everything is okay. Everything is right. Even what hurt.
Second hypothetical.
Okay.
After a very long life, a healthy life, and you're coming to your end, and you have the blessing of being around Gabe, Lou, your people in front of you, and you know that you're going in a few seconds, what do you think is important for them to hear from Lara?
Je t'aime. I would say je t'aime. The last words would be, I love you, and I've loved every single minute of this. And I would say thank you.
If Lou is growing up to be a gorgeous, great independent woman. And after me and you are gone from this earth. And she knows this video is on YouTube. And every time life hits her, she knows she can click play and skip to this part because she needs to hear something. What do you think she needs to hear from you?
That she's the most extraordinary thing that ever happened to me. She's my eternal peony field. And that I wouldn't change 1 second of my life from the moment she was born. That everything she is has been a joy, and an immense teacher. And that I am the person in this universe who has loved her the most. Here, now, and forever.
Lara, if your life story was a song, what would you call the song?
I wish it wasn't my song, but my song would be called Je t'aime.
It really is you, huh? It's your DNA.
Yeah.
And if I can take, this is my last hypothetical question, but it's a nice one. If I take Lara's heart, why are you breathing hard?
No, because I think you wouldn't have a big hand, a hand big enough to hold it.
Okay, let's see, I can squeeze it.
I can squeeze it.
And I take your heart and I place it out of you. What would Lara's heart tell Lara?
Under no circumstances, never stop loving.
And final question. Lara in one word.
Lara. Lara is Lara.
What does Lara mean?
In one word, it's so difficult.
It is a difficult question.
It is.
Because I want you to reduce
Yes.
your human essence to one.
Yes.
Like if me and you see you, I'll tell you, who's that? Describe her in one word.
I'm a good heart, Anas.
Yeah, I believe that.
That's what I am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate this.
Me too.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thank you for sharing.
It was fantastic.
I hope you liked it.
I did. I loved it. It was a very unique experience. I've never done an interview like this, ever.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
Take that as a compliment.
Oh, yes, please do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
When was the last time you did an English interview?
Oh my God.
Long one, right?